Hello, this is Mitch King with Trade Stocks America with the Friday morning, March 12, 2010 daily stock report. We're looking at the Dow 30. All three indexes were up 0.4% today, just steadily marching upwards. Real good trend, excellent looking trading action on these stocks, and this kind of action a little at a time and steady as she goes is really good for a longer term bull run. The big volatility moves on the tops and bottoms, like you guys just saw down here at the bottom and at the top, all the bottoms and all the tops have big volatility moves. It's these moves that we've got here real steadily right here in the last 8 or so days is very sustainable, just steadily moving up. That's a real nice pattern. NASDAQ Composite also up 0.4%, real steadily moving up as well. And the S&P 500 finally reached that 1150 mark, which is we set back in here, and we're just about above that figure on January 19th. So we're expecting this to continue at some point to move up. And tomorrow's economic news is nothing really earth-shattering. It's not a high priority, but if it is very positive, it's going to help continue that bullish sentiment in the market that we've got in the last 10 days. Want to go over a handful of stocks. Here's Google, really steadily moving up another 4.5 points today, about 0.8% or 0.8%, real strong run in the last 2 weeks. We've had this stock for quite some months, one of the longer term stocks. Here's a stock that we were stopped out several weeks ago, and we're sorry that we allowed that to get stopped. It's been a real strong stock, Starbucks, for quite some months. We like to find some entry point to get into it. It just exceeded to a higher high today from that third week of January as well. So today it just went above that. So real bullish sign longer term. I like what's happening with that company. Schwartz took that company back over. He's the founder. Got rid of the last CEO and closed several thousand unprofitable stores. So I like what's happening, but I've got on that report here to start looking for an entry point, and we're probably not likely to get below that 2350 number on a purchase price to go long on Starbucks. Here's that AIG. That stock peaked out. Let's change the scaling on that. The stock peaked out right here at 38.45 today. It did not get to that $40. It did not get to that $40 figure we were looking for that we would like. So it peaked out at 38.45, corrected down to 35. Let's take a look at an intraday chart on Stock Finder 4.0 with Warden Brothers. So what you saw with AIG, that first 5 minutes was the high right there, and that 38.50, it sold off 250 right there. So that was the high price of the day. It looks like to me that's probably going to be the high price of the stock for this particular cycle that we're seeing. It really is a bull short in a smaller scale. It's not extreme movement, but it is for that particular stock. So I've outlined the stock option strategy that you can use. It really today was the day to use that. Tomorrow is going to be a lot tougher to get a very good price on that. So I think that the idea is washed out in terms of stock options. So here's the closing price at 35.11. Now the stock could very well do a little bounce back in the morning, maybe 36.50 to 37. That may give you a second opportunity, but the profit margin potential on this is really getting to be narrow as this goes lower and lower. So today's your best day. I really wouldn't use that stock options unless it moves back up to close to 37 tomorrow, and it probably would be tomorrow to do that. But the quality of the idea is diminishing as the stock is dropping, especially with stock options. Here's Intermune ITMN. We've talked about several times this week about this stock. 38.40 was the opening today, sold off almost $3, which is a pretty big drop. This is the stock that got FDA approval. I incorrectly posted on the text report last night that this was a buyout. I was referring to actually another stock and got a little confused between the other one and this one. So at least this is a good scalping stock on the short and the long side, but mostly the short side. There's a lot of downside pressure on this. Even though it's got an FDA approval, these things really do fall apart as well. This stock did come from a lower price. Let's take a look. I think it was around 16. Let's look at the daily chart. There's ITM down here at about 1550 earlier this week. I think it was either last Friday. And this high right there, I believe, is 39.40. So there could be a lot of money made on the downside. Don't get heavy on this short. At least consider scalping it both long and short, if not holding a short over the weekend into next week. But use a very small short position. I think this is worth a very small short. Here's TiVo. This is the one that won that lawsuit. This is the stock that got that court ruling that upheld a lower court's judgment of $300 million against Dish Network for patent infringement. There's likely to be appeals and so on to delay that payout. But the stock is heading down like it's acting like a bull short. So I'm thinking that you might consider a very small short position over the weekend on this. You can also, I think it's a little safer to use the scalping methods, intraday trading, and not hold a very big position over the weekend or overnight, but still consider this as a short. One more stock I want to cover is CNAM, China Armco Metals. Still think that this thing is going to pull back down around 8 or possibly under 8. If it goes above 10.25, 10.50 tomorrow, consider stopping out, using that as your stop loss for those people who are short. I want to cover COT, C-O-T. It is turning up real nicely today, up 2.6%. It came from about 675 a couple days ago. What we're looking on this stock is not a huge run on this thing. I don't see much more than 775. If it really moves up a little, 2, 3, 4% tomorrow on Monday, I would probably take it, because if you really look at this, it is on a downtrend, and the thought I have is that it may not exceed that by very much. Patterns tend to follow themselves unless there's some sort of big breakout, which is not what we're expecting on this stock. So this is a little quick profit on this one. I put it in the intermediate box thinking it'd take longer, but after reevaluating this, I just think that there's not a huge potential on this. Just go ahead, grab any profit you can and stick it in your bucket. Here's WLP, WellPoint, up 1.7%, which is a higher high than the March 1st one. So nice little uptrend. These health stocks are gaining a little momentum after Obama scared the heck out of them from these tops on most of these health insurance companies or HMLs. The healthcare proposals starting to look a little more tame, not quite as so hostile. So these stocks should start responding. This is a little longer term hold. So hey, you guys take care. Good luck tomorrow, and we'll talk to you Sunday. Have a great weekend.